clearing Tampa the third. Essential coaches and pros, the X's and O's. This is the best. What we do, what we know. So let's go. Yo, what's up? What's up with my people? What's up, y'all? What's going on, man? Make sure that you hit that like, share, subscribe button, hit the notification bell too, y'all. For y'all can make sure y'all got all the updates on my videos when I do drop one. Super busy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my baby girl softball game, you know what I'm saying? Had one Saturday morning. Shout out to my son, had his football game Saturday. My son, he gonna have my oldest, he have his football game on Friday nights. So they all got sports. Shout out to all my babies, man. Love all of y'all, man. Y'all make sure that y'all support the boy, man. That's all I'm saying. You dig? Yo, college football. As you can see, Texas Tech and Utah, man, they played, man. They had a game. I probably personally would have took Utah in this game. I'm not even going to sit here and lie and say that. I think Texas Tech was the underdog, though. So I was thinking about taking them in the points in this particular game. However, I mean, I guess you could sit here and say now, like, oh, well, you can sit here and say now that you would have probably took them in that game. But, you know, speaking up on this game right now, I don't know. But, Texas Tech wound up beating Utah really bad. I mean, and look, this is a preview of possibly the Big 12 championship game. There's teams that are playing very well. Shout out to Baylor in Arizona State. They battled. That was a very good game, man. It really was. Baylor, and we probably going to talk about that game actually here in a minute. So I ain't even going to really speak up on that. But the Big 12 got some good football. They got some good quarterback play going on. And I really like Devin Dampier in this particular game. That's probably why I was leaning towards Utah. It was a defensive battle of game. You can't sit here and say that game was not a defensive battle of game. I mean, for crying out loud, they didn't score until the fourth quarter in that game. You know what I'm saying? Is when it got out of hand. So if you really watch the game, it really was a good defensive battle. I mean, Devin Dampier, he threw 2 interceptions in the game. He was 25 for 38, 162 yards. He didn't have a touchdown and 2 picks. I don't want to say that lost in the game, though. I do not necessarily want to sit here and say that lost in the game, because if you look at Texas Tech and Brendan Morton, he also threw 2 interceptions. He was 12 for 19, 142 yards and no touchdown. Will Hammond came in and he was 3 for 16, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, right? So you say you put it how you want to put it. I mean, that's just how that game turned out to be. Now, as a team rushing, Texas Tech had 173 yards. As a team rushing, Utah had 101 yards. Their leading rusher had 37 yards, and that was Nakari Rogers, number 21 for them. Cameron Dickey was the leading rusher for Texas Tech. He had 13 carries, 67 yards in that game. And look, I'm just trying to get y'all quick stats, and I'm pretty sure y'all already know about the stats, but when you looked at that game, it was just a great defensive battle of game. It was a brawl, man. It just was. I mean, the turnovers cost. At the end of the day, I can't even say the turnovers cost in this game. It just seemed like, to be honest, just to try to sum it up in a little bit of words, for me, it was like Texas Tech had more in the gas tank than Utah at the end, right? You know, and that's pretty much what you could say there, because the game was it was fantastic. Shout out to Jacob Rodriguez, number 10. He had 11 total tackles for Texas Tech. If y'all know Rodriguez from last year, he was going to do this, man. Linebacker, played really well. He was always around the ball. He was a big factor for Texas Tech last year. He stepped up this year to become a leader in the middle of that defense. They're looking great right now. Utah, the Utes, their leading tackler was Nate Ritchie. Number 6, he had 13 total tackles, 10 solos, 2 tackles for a loss, 2.5 tackles for a loss. But everybody was getting towards tackles for a loss yesterday for Utah. I mean, you had everybody. You had John Daly, he had a tackle for a loss. Smith Snowden, he was getting busy yesterday. Tyo Johnson had a tackle for a loss. Jackson Benny had a tackle for a loss. Jonathan Hall had a tackle for a loss. But that's because Texas Tech with those trying to get the ball out quick, you know what I mean? Those little quick wide receiver screens, and they was all over that. They was all over that, and they wasn't trying to let them get no yardage off of that. I thought it was a great game, man. Shout out to both teams. And I mean, everybody's going to be wrong out here. Nobody's really right when it comes down to evaluating these games. There's no right or wrong way to really do this and to say that somebody's right or wrong, right? Because a lot of the professionals probably was taking Utah. They were at home. College atmospheres have a lot to do with it, but it looks like Texas Tech, them spending the money they spent on their roster throughout the transfer portal has came to fruition, and everything that they did was correct out there. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a fluke what they did, what they done, what they built. They got their money's worth out of it. It's looking that way so far up and going to week 5, right? It's looking that way. Some of that, I mean, Texas Tech had 14 drives. Utah had 15 total drives. Utah was starting further back, their own 27. Texas Tech was starting for like their own 38. I mean, each its own with that. You can say whatever you want to say with that. You know what I'm saying? Coming up with that, just trying to give a little bit more context into the stats and how this game played out. Have you not seen it or you watched it? Defensively, the Havoc's plays created by Texas Tech. I mean, they had 12 of them. That was accounted for like 16% of their offense. I mean, you look at Utah, the Utes, they had 14 Havoc plays created. That was 19% of their defense. I mean, look, other plays. So they both were getting after the ball. I mean, you cannot sit here and say that they were not, man. And Texas Tech outrushed Utah. They passed, they beat them offensively on the board, but Utah's defense they did come to play. It looked like they didn't have enough. They just didn't have enough in the gas tank when it came down to it. Does it make me look at Devin Dampier any different? I think I will say this. You can't get his I don't think he needs to throw for 42 times in a game. I will say that. I think you need to keep him somewhere in that. I think you want to keep him somewhere 30 to max. You know what I mean? Even getting in the game like that, they put a lot on him in this game to win this game. And they just didn't have it at the end. I mean, in the fourth quarter, you come back and you put up 24 points in the fourth quarter. That's amazing by Texas Tech, and also shows resiliency. But I mean, Utah just didn't miss a beat in this game, but they did trample all over the Utes. So you got to give it to Texas Tech. Shout out to them. Because they did what they did, man. Moving on to the next game, man. I got another one on the slot. That's right. Clemson got handled by Syracuse. The Syracuse Orange men straight up handled Clemson. Oh my goodness. This game right here, man. I mean, there's so many people they picked Clemson to win the national championship. I thought Clemson honestly was going to be the number one team in the ACC, so I'm guilty of it. I didn't go as far as saying the national champion, but I did think that they will be the number one team in the ACC. I did also say Miami number 2. Miami was my number 2 team. Georgia Tech was my number 3 team. Florida State really, I didn't know where they were at, really. You know what I mean? I just didn't know where Florida State was preseason wise and where they were going to come out. I didn't know if Gus Malzahn going there was going to make a big difference or not. But anyway, I'm talking about this game. And I get sidetracked sometimes, and that happens sometimes when I'm talking football. You know what I'm saying? I get excited about it, and I get to, going off because I know a little bit about it. Anyhow, in the game, I mean, where you see Syracuse put up 34 points and Clemson put up 21, and I think that game was just the probability for win for Syracuse. It came early on, man, and I mean, I think they won this game handily. To be honest, you could look at it however you want to look at it, box score wise, whatever, you know what I mean? But when you break it down and you get a statistics on this game, right? You probably want to say that, Clemson's defense was there. their offense isn't generating enough. And people took Clay Klubnik to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country. I'm like, I don't know if Clay Klubnik was to be there. I wasn't even not sold on it, even taking him to be number one. And I thought a lot of it was going to have to do with the defense. However, I thought that he would play good enough to catapult this team, just manage the game. And it's just not that way. It's not managing. They're putting too much on him. I'm not a quarterback guru. Just seems like he's what I mean, you got quarterbacks who you can lean on and put the pressure on, and you just got guys who you just want to go out there and manage the game. And I think he's more of one of those guys that go out there, manage the game, make the right plays, use his leg when needed to be. He maybe can get you a couple of ad-lib plays in there, but depending on Cade Klubnik to actually go out there and beat and win games, I think they're putting a tall task on them. But we'll see what happens later on in the season. It's still early. I mean, you still can get a good 7 wins out of the season, depending on how you face your remaining schedule, Clemson. So they maybe can still pick up from where they're leaving off at right now. But in this game, I mean, you had Clemson had 13 total drives. Syracuse had 14 total drives in this game. Syracuse started from their own 36 in their drives. Clemson started from their own 24. I really didn't think that Syracuse defense was like that, but obviously they came to play because, I mean, they were stopping them at like a 50% clip. 50% of the time on their defense, they was out there stopping them. It is what it is. It just is, man. I mean, they couldn't really they caused turnovers, so they run in a turnover margin. I mean, that's easy for some people to say. When you run in a turnover margin, you can win games. It makes it tougher to win a game when you're losing in a turnover margin. I will say that. I mean, that's an easy analysis to say, but so I'm not even going to go there and say that. What I am going to say is that, I was surprised at how that defense played, because you just can't shut down somebody who, even if he's not the best quarterback in the nation or the top 5, however you want to put it with Klubnik, you still can't shut down a veteran guy who's been in that offense for years. He's been with Dabo for years. It's not like this is a new guy who to the system new to shut him down that way. And by the way, when you still putting up, 300 over 300 yards in a passing game, I mean, that's something with that defense. But I mean, let's just call it what it is. They were stopping them at a 50% clip. It's just not me. This is what the stats, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, look it up yourself. You know what I'm saying? I do the research. You do it. You could look it up yourself. Fact check me. Rushing wise, neither. I mean, look, Clemson had 141 yards rushing total as a team. I'm talking, and then you got Syracuse that had 168 total rushing yards as a team. If you want to, the top rushers in the game, I believe were Will Nixon was the top rusher for Clemson. I mean, for Syracuse, For Syracuse, Will Nixon was 10 carries, 46 yards, had a TD. Adam Randall was the top rusher for Clemson. He had a fumble. That can't happen in the top. I'm sorry. And then Yasi Willis. I'm sorry. Yasi Willis was for Syracuse. Yasi Willis was a beast. I forgot. How did that? 18 carries, 94 yards was, chewing them up when it needed to be. And that, I just I'm surprised. I don't know. Cause Syracuse is, I didn't think that game was going to go down like that. I honestly didn't. I'm kind of shocked. I honestly did not think that game was going to go down like that. I didn't think that Clemson would win per se, how they've been looking recently, but I didn't think they was just going to get manhandled by the Syracuse Orange like that. I didn't expect Syracuse to come out like that. So we definitely seeing parity play a part in some of these major programs, whether people want to admit it or not. It's here. It's here. And it's here to stay. And then when you look at conferences like the Sun Belt and the MAC, and you know what I'm saying, the parity is affecting teams, and it's like they're just beating up on each other. And then you got the bigger programs, the Big Ten, and the bigger conferences, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC. When they lose some of their players, and some of these players get stuck in a portal, They got to just go to a team, right? So they end up at one of them, mid-major teams, maybe in the Big Sky, over with Idaho, such like that, and then teams become even and with talent. So it's going to come down to coaching here in a second. You're going to, I mean, yeah, you could recruit the top classes, but it's going to be hard to keep a hold of those guys if they're not getting playing time. If they're not getting playing time, you get 4 games to play them until you can redshirt them. But it's just going to, that's just what I believe. I said this last year. I said this 2 years ago. Said this 2 years ago when me and Shad was doing the fans' point of view. It's going to happen. Parody and look, I mean, you can say it how you could twist it and say it however you want to say it and put it in so many different words and ways and however you want to say that, but it's here. I mean, if you clearly cannot see it in college football, I don't know what to say because it's definitely happening. Definitely before your very eyes. Now, will the programs, the blue bloods, always win? Absolutely, they will still always win because their expectations are high. Their alum and their boosters and so forth and so on are willing to give, but then you will see teams that will rise up throughout. You will see teams that will rise up throughout because money talks. Money talks to these young men. And I don't care what school it is. If they got a bag, they are going to get the talent there. And that's why I think that, that's just my opinion, though. I think it will come down to coaching at some point. And talent will always, win probably over coaching. Sometimes, though, a well-coached team will get it. You expect that. Just speaking on that, and I think that's where I'm going with this this Syracuse game because Fran Brown has been he's done an excellent job. I mean, and shout out to Fran Brown and Syracuse, man. I mean, a lot of people have been always saying that, he's one of the guys who always had that respect, Fran Brown. But I just don't think that he's properly getting his respect, right? Because he did a fantastic job. But Kyle McCord didn't really. He got ran up out of Ohio State, right? Will Howard had to fill those shoes. He goes up there. Will Howard goes up there and to Ohio State, that is, from Kansas State. And then Kyle McCord winds up leaving Ohio State and going to Syracuse, having a fantastic year in Fran Brown's first year. Fran Brown's first year there, Syracuse on it second. He's looking good. And I mean, like, you normally say that you want to give a coach 3 years. And I mean, I hate to say it, I don't want to speak too early on this, but he's doing a fantastic job. When you can beat a team like Clemson in the fashion that you did, beat them at home, at their field, a Dabo Swinney coach team, you can't tell me that he's not doing a fantastic job up there at Syracuse. You just can't. You just can't. And I'm pretty sure now the whole internet and all the mainstream media is going to Fran Brown as to death now. But let's just be honest, they should have been talking about Fran Brown, what he was able to do last year with Kyle McCord, to where an ex-NFL offensive coordinator and a head coach of Ryan Day up at Ohio State couldn't get out of Kyle McCord. They couldn't get out of him. They could not get that out of Kyle McCord. If they would have gotten the Kyle McCord at Syracuse last year up at Ohio State the previous year, Ohio State would be back-to-back national champions right now. Period. So, and I don't think it's just what he's getting out of Kyle McCord. It's what he gets out of his players. And they play in a dome up north. So you don't even have to be exposed to the harsh weather at Syracuse and Western New York because you got a dome. And believe it or not, and I know a lot of people out there say, oh, that just takes the softness out of it. No, that is absolutely 100% better for everything that football is based around. Don't nobody care about your feelings and how you feel about a game, because there's fans that don't want to sit in wet stands and sit in the snow to watch a football game. Fans like myself, I'll say that proudly right now. But then you got media, vendors. They don't nobody be wanting to film no games in no snow and the rain. I mean, you will to get the footage, to get the good games. Don't college game day, big noon kickoff, ESPN, Pat Back, all those guys. I mean, they don't got a problem with doing that. Because they've been there, but they don't want to particularly just sit and talk the game and call the game in the rain. And then you got your booths, your mobile booths and sets and stuff like that you got to set up on a field and so forth and so on. You would prefer to be in the dome. I'm telling you, until college football up north, teams in particular, and I think teams period start getting domes at the college and professional level, it will help with recruiting. It will help with getting free agents. It will help with so much more of just spending that money to get you that. I'm telling you, it will. It just will. I think I honestly, and I know they've been doing it. It's not something that's new, because I mean, like, you look at my Steelers. I mean, we used to have Three River Stadium. It's not something that's new. I'm saying they're on to something here, and they're always going to be able to recruit everywhere. Certain recruits that will take out, you know what I mean, all the rather. If you're serious about playing football and being developed into a good football player, I think that's a great place to go up there. They seem to be doing good with developing guys and so forth and so on, and that, and getting them to the next level, man. So I like it. I like it a lot, man. Shout out to Syracuse one more time. Yeah, I know I got the rambling on that one, but hey, that's important. All right, next. Oklahoma. Shout out to Oklahoma. What up, Bishop? Shout out to Oklahoma, man, and Auburn, man. That Oklahoma-Auburn game was one of the best games that I watched yesterday. I'm telling you, man, it was exciting. They came to play. They really did. Auburn, I was shocked. I really was shocked that Auburn was getting active with them out there like that. I'm not gonna lie. I there was a couple of times where I was watching the game like, oh, Auburn might pull this off. Like, this the question. And mind you, they win by 7 at home in Oklahoma. They won at Oklahoma. Oklahoma won at home, right? You can say they had this game all the way through. You could say that, but Oklahoma is better than what some people thought they may be, right? Right? You got to get that credit. But is Auburn creeping? Is Hugh Freeze really on something? They were supposed to hit that button last year, but is Oklahoma something that, I mean, is Auburn something to look at right now and say, I don't know? The way that they played Auburn is creeping. They are right there, man. They are right there. Look, I like the turnovers in this game, man. You gotta look at it. You gotta see. Look, one fumble, great game. Almost turnover. Almost turnover free game. You gotta love those games. I mean, when you look at a team, the rushing wise for Oklahoma, I mean, they won 24-17 in this game. But you look at this game, right? And the passing yards total as a team, Oklahoma at 271 and Auburn had 220. But Oklahoma could not run the ball on Auburn. They could not run the ball. They just could not run the ball on them. And you saying yourself, like, what is going on? What's going on? And that's why I'm saying Auburn's defense, man. Auburn's defense, man. And that's why that's why I came up with the question. Is this a team who possibly, I mean, because Oklahoma's resilience showed up in that game, but you're really sitting there looking at this game like, yo, is Auburn better than what we did? Like, are they one of those teams that just came out of nowhere? Because I tell you what, Jackson Arnold was 21 for 32, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Not one interception. Not one. And neither did John Maytier. John Maytier was 24 for 36, 271 yards and a touchdown in this game. And you look and you say, wow. Now, granted, now the sacks, the lost yardage, it goes against them in the rushing game. Too many couldn't get no yards off the carries. He just lost a lot of yards there. So that counts towards the as a team rushing that goes against them. You know what I mean? But Jeremiah Cobb looks like he's about to be a problem. He looks like he's about to be a problem in the SEC. Straight up problem. I like the way he was running the rock. That's just me. Eric Singleton came from the ACC. I thought I knew he was good. If Georgia Tech had him and everything that they got right now, I think Georgia Tech would be a highly favorite because Georgia Tech is a favorite right now to probably win. But if they still had Eric Singleton Jr. transferred over to Auburn, I mean, look, he had 9 catches, 60 yards in a game, popped up in some good moments. Deion Burks is going to be a problem. I like Burks, but with Oklahoma, by the way, I really do. But Tega just went off. They just couldn't do nothing with him, man. When you 9 catches, 127 yards in a game, they had no answer for that. Auburn had no answer for him and the Maytier connection. They didn't. And ultimately, I think that's what won them the game. That's what got them the game ultimately. But it was a very great, it was a good game. And that's why when you look at this slide, there's Auburn's logo a little bit smaller, but OU's is bigger because they came out on top. But I mean, like, it was a great game to watch. It really was. Spoiled with a lot of good football, man. It was just good down to the wire, man. I like those kind of games. So shout out to both Auburn and Oklahoma, man. Those are just 2 teams in the SEC. The SEC is really tough this year, by the way. I did say the SEC was going to start beating up on each other the way that people used to say the Big 12 does. And I think that's all that parity is going to do to these conferences. We're going to start seeing 2 and 3 lost teams playing for the SEC championship or the Big Ten championship. It is what it is. It's going to be hard to go. It's always hard to go undefeated anyway. You know what I mean? Even when all this transfer portal and parity stuff wasn't in here. You know what I mean? So just imagine what it's going to be now. And I mean, you get one transfer portal, which is going to be like free agency. It's going to be a frenzy. Just that one portal opening. Kind of talk about that after the games, but yeah, man, good game, man. Great game, but by both teams, man. Great showing, man. I really enjoyed it. Yes, the Miami Hurricanes just walked all over the Gators, man. The Gators season, man. DJ Lagway he just let me down. I mean, I always get at least one let down a year when I pick my quarterbacks. I really do. And looking at that game, man, I look, man, Miami, they came to play. Miami came to play, man. They did. They came to play. However, I did tell y'all about Carson Beck. I think that my preseason 5, I think it was 5 quarterbacks I picked preseason. That would be first round picks based off of their size and their attributes and how they come out and play this year. And Miami and Carson Beck was one of those guys. He just was. I mean, it's hard for him not to be one of those guys. I mean, Carson Beck is a heck of a player, man. He's excellent at what he does. Carson Beck, he came out and he had a great game. I thought Carson Beck played really well in this game. Even though he was 17 for 30, 160 yards, and he threw a pick. And you saying why? How could you be excellent when you got those kind of stats? Because I don't think stats tell the whole story, right? When you needed him to step up, he stepped up. It was a wet game. Kind of, I mean, if you're a Miami fan, you would even sit there and say that this wasn't even the best Miami you could have got. It just wasn't. I mean, like, and I'm not a Miami fan, and I could watch. And from the film of me watching Miami this year and watching that team, that was not Miami at its best. It just wasn't, y'all. I'm sorry to say that to get to the Florida fans out there. Y'all did not get the best Miami team. I just didn't. I mean, they hard nosed. They what they did and what they're really good at is in those trenches. They got really good in those trenches and they're healthy in those trenches right now. So they just said, look, we just going straight up muscle them. This is a sloppy, wet game. We're going to run the ball. We're going to play great defense. We're going to get after you guys in the run. We're going to try to shut the run down. We're going to put pressure on DJ Lagway, keep him contained. And that's exactly what Miami did in this game. They really just bullied Florida in this game, and it wasn't at their best. But Carson Beck made plays when he needed to make plays. He just did. He took care of the ball when in the way he needed to take care of it. That interception he threw is still on him a little bit. I seen it. But Mark Fletcher Jr. and Shamar Brown is just they. People are going to talk about them being the best two-headed monster in this year. Comparing them to Jenkins and Henderson from last year from Ohio State. You're going to hear that now. If you're going to hear that, I'm going to say it right now. Mark Fletcher Jr. and Shamar Brown are going to be looked at as being the best two-headed monster in college football. But Crystal Ball builds teams like this. He did that. He does. He's been doing it back in Oregon. He came down Miami at the unit, and he's doing it there. That's a great place to play. Speaking of being in the dome, speaking of being down there in Florida, who don't want to go to Florida? I mean, I get it. It's hard for some of the guys that grow up down there to play for Florida, but hey, that's where you need to. Hey, y'all need to just stay home, get to play. You familiar with the area, and I get it. A lot of people, so trouble may come your way, but look, they're in a dome, so they can recruit from anywhere. You don't have to expose yourself to the weather. They probably could have closed the dome up, but I guess that's just, some football fans want that, some don't, I guess. However it goes. But DJ Lagway he just didn't play well. He was 12 for 23, 61 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Carson Beck was 17 for 30, 160 yards. He threw a pick in the game. Mark Fletcher Jr. went crazy, 24 carries, 116 yards, one touchdown, had a long rush of 20 yards in the game. Shamar Brown had 18 carries, 80 yards, two touchdowns. They went off, and they held to Florida as a team to only 80 rushing yards. Ball and Jackson, they just couldn't get off. Ball had 12 carries, 46 yards. He did have a touchdown, the only touchdown of the game. By the way, Jacoby Jackson just couldn't get nowhere. Oh yeah, shout out to Kamari Brown. Kamari Brown was the guy that got that picked off Carson Beck. By the way, read it good in coverage, and he definitely got it. So shout out to Kamari. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to Kamari. Got it, did his thing. And look, I just really like what they do, man. They spread the ball around pretty well. Carson Beck does. He just don't key on one player. He reads the entire field. And that's how you have a good game when you're 17 for 30, because you spread the ball around well, scans the field well, puts the ball, and he gives all his receivers equal opportunity to make plays. And that's great. When you got five guys, I mean, it's even better when you got more than five guys that touch the ball, but when you got five guys who are so consistent as Miami is, and these guys have been absolutely outstanding. Shamar Brown in the passing game, even using him out of the backfield, that's been great for him. Dual threat running back like that. So you think when he's in a game, they're probably, it just opens up the field so much more. I wish they would probably try to use Mark Fletcher a little bit more in the passing game. And the only reason why I say that, because you think when Mark Fletcher's in there, it's almost just like, all right, we're just going to run the ball. We're just going to bully you. When Fletcher's in there, that's what they're trying to do. But when you see Shamar Brown, you probably think, okay, now you're guessing on your toes. Is it a draw? Is he going to play? Are you going to pass it out of the spread? You just don't know what's going to happen, because then you got Malachi Tony, got Lofting, Keelan Marion. He'll probably pop up in one of these games and have a breakout game. I'm waiting for him to have one. The transfer from BYU, CJ Daniels. I mean, these guys, Miami's just on a roll, man. I really like this team, man. They were my second. I did say that they were going to lose a game. I did, and it was I think it was Clemson. I believe it was They used to say that you was going to lose to Clemson or Notre Dame. Sorry, Notre Dame. And that's the only one I really saw for them. Their path down defenders might be really well. But shout out to Florida's defense because they did come to play. Score don't really tell the whole story of the game. They did come to play. They got up out there. The defense was moving around, swarming around. Like I said, Kermani McClain had a pick in the game. But Miami's defense, man. I mean, when you got those guys healthy, Ruben Bain leading that defensive line the way he does, man, it's gonna be hard to knock down on you, man. It just is. Let's just call it what it is. The great game. I love it, man. Football is here. College football is here. And I'll talk about some other games just real quick after I get done with these slides and as I'm going through the slides real quick, right? Indiana, man, like if you look at the screen, you see the logo. If you can't see the logo, let me explain it to you. I got the Indiana University logo up there, but then I got the Illinois logo fitting right inside it because they said we the big I. And oh my goodness, did Illinois put the I in this? Did what they put it in? Discombobulation, humiliation. I mean, they just put the I in a lot of words, except when that's the only thing the Illinois Fighting alumni did not put the I in. But I'm telling you, Indiana has absolutely came to play. Kurt Cignetti is a good coach, like I said, and like I thought so. A lot of people thought that Indiana was just one of those flyby teams that just really caught lightning in a bottle. And they wound up dropping it. But look, it's right back to where it is. Right back to where it is. And it's crazy because they're just not so used to seeing them win. And they won in dramatic fashion. I mean, just 63-10. A Brett Bielema team full of seniors ranked number 9 in the country got beat 63-10. Y'all, oh my goodness, man. What is there to say? And I told y'all about. I tried to tell people about Fernando Mendoza when I seen him play Miami last year when he was at Cal. I said, "Oh my goodness, this man right here, he can throw the ball. He can throw the ball, and he got the size and everything else that you want to have. I mean, as far as turnovers go down, they had one, but they just could not stop Indiana from doing nothing. Indiana ran the ball at will. They stopped the run at will. They got to the quarterback at will. They stopped they played a fantastic game against a very well coached, tough Illinois team that I think maybe, this Illinois team of seniors to get smacked in the mouth like this and humiliated on national television the way that Indiana did them. I think when you lose like this, it's good for you, right? Because you learn a lot out of a loss, right? And I think they learn so much about each other. Not only that, but I don't think that they're just going to just let this season go now. I think they're going to come back and fight even harder now for the season. So watch out because you're going to get two tough Big Ten teams ready to play now. Because people now know that Indiana is serious, that offense can score, and that defense is a lot better than what it was anticipated. I don't know why people thought that D'Angelo Pons and all those guys on that Indiana defense just was not going to play. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you why would people think that Indiana's team wouldn't play. That's crazy to me. But, man, did they go off. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, y'all, was 21 for 23 in the game. Almost a perfect game. He almost pitched a perfect game and had 263 yards, 5 TDs. This is not a cupcake game. Luke Altmaier was, I believe wasn't he highly touted? He's like a 4 or 5 star guy coming out of high school or something like that. I'm just saying, but he was 14 for 22, 146 yards, had a touchdown. And look, granted, he just couldn't get going. He just couldn't get going. That defense for Indiana was all over him. They couldn't Caden Fegan he had 5 carries in the game. 18 yards out of 5 carries. And we talking about big Fegan. Yeah, big Caden Fegan, number 3 for Illinois. Couldn't get nowhere. Nowhere. Khalil Valentine, 6 carries, 11 yards. Couldn't get nowhere. Their longest runs was for 6 yards in the entire game. They just said, look, we can't run. I mean, when you're trying to play catch up, you got to pass the ball, right? That's just what you got to do. But look, Kobe Martin for Indiana, the running back, number 28, had 12 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, long for 31. Kalen Black had 10 carries, 89 yards, touchdown, long 40. You know what I'm saying? Roman Hemby, number 1, 14 carries, 65 yards. They hitting you with different backs. Chris Signetti is like changing the game, man. Changing the game. He's a really good coach, man. I think he's a really good coach. And he has an eye for developing talent. Watch out for Indiana. I'm telling you, for real. Now, will they probably be world beaters every year? Am I sitting here saying that Indiana? No, but they're going to be a competitive team. If you do not play that team up and give them an A, you have to play them at your A game. You can't come out there and turn over the ball 2 times on Indiana and think you're going to beat Indiana. I don't think that's going to happen with that team. I just don't think so. No, you have to play a very well-disciplined game like you're playing a top-tier game, because if you're not, they will walk away with a win. That's all I'm saying that Indiana is. Indiana is one of those teams that clearly will do that. I mean, they've shown it. They showed it in spurts last year with Signetti's first year there. In his first year, he took a team that had, 3 or 4 wins to an 11-win team. Now, granted, their schedule it is what it is, but now they're starting off 4-0 this next year. Great. I mean, to me, honestly, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the portal, but Fernando Mendoza was one of the better ones. Most definitely one of the better quarterbacks in there. And he really got one. He really got one with Fernando Mendoza. You don't believe me? I mean, when you ask Omar Cooper, ask Riley Nowowski, ask Hemby, ask Elijah Surratt, did he get one? Because I'm telling you, he looks better than Curtis Rourke in that offense that's being ran up out there at Indiana. I'm telling you, he just does. And that defense, man, that defense is just, that defense is incredible over there. Incredible. And so is Illinois. Shout out to Illinois defense, because that defense is great. That Illinois defense is still good and it's great. That's what shocks me. That's what shocks me about this, bro. Because that defense is not sweet. And I know a bunch of people come tomorrow. It's going to be blown away with Indiana winning in this fashion. They are, because they're like, and I think, where do you put a number 19 Indiana blowout win over a top 10 team like Illinois? Where do you put Indiana now? I think you just swap them. I think Illinois goes to like 15, maybe 15, 16, somewhere in there, because I still think that they're above a top 20 team. I honestly do with a loss, because of who they have. Even if I honestly do, I know it. That's how I feel. Now, I don't have a vote in this. They know the job better than me. That's why they're professionals. This is why I do what I do. That's why they do what they do, right? But this is what I stand with that. Still feel like Illinois is still a great football team. I really do. But Indiana is definitely a great team. They are. They're great. To put up 63 points. Now, let's see what they're carrying on and how this season shapes up. Well, I'm excited to see Indiana play against some top teams. I think they got I can't remember if Illinois has let's take a look at their schedule real quick and see if Indiana what they have right now, because I can't remember if they got Iowa. They're at Iowa next. 3 o'clock on Peacock, right? That's their next game, September 27th at Iowa. Then they're at Oregon. Then they play Michigan State at home. Then they have UCLA. Then they're at Maryland, and then they're at Penn State. Then they play Wisconsin, and then they finish the season at Purdue. Putting up that many points, I think Michigan State will play them tough. The next three games, I think we'll get a good look and a good view at Indiana. Do I think they can beat Iowa? Absolutely. I think that offense is too high powered to stop by Iowa. But Iowa is a well-disciplined, well coached team too. So we'll see what happens there with them, right? We'll just see what happens there with them. But Oregon, great. I can't wait to see them play Oregon October 11th. I can't wait to see that game because then we'll really be able to have a barometer of how this team really is and what this team is really about, honestly. Yes. Baylor losing to Arizona. I told you we was going to talk about this Baylor and Arizona game. I told you we was going to talk about that. Now, look, I like Baylor and Arizona State. That game was good. It really was. I was surprised in this game. I really like what I saw out of these teams. Sam Levitt, he took it to another level. I'm just being honest. Sam Levitt said, you know what, man, I'm taking this game. I'm taking this bull by the horns, and I'm about to run with it. I really like the way that they came out there and they showed up and they played football, man. Baylor, because I mean they came out with the dub over Baylor, and Baylor, that Dave Aranda team, man. I mean, look, it was a Big 12 opener, and they both came in 2-1, right? Somebody had to drop the 2-2 because they both came in with the same record, but. And there's no buts. There's no buts, right? They both had the same amount of drives in there. I think Arizona State had one more drive than Baylor. They both started from about their own 35-yard line. The defense both had the same amount of havoc plays. This team, it was almost like looking in the mirror when you're looking at these two teams play, man. It really was, man. It was a good game. I mean, look, Baylor had 250 passing yards as a team. Arizona State had 210. Rushing wise, Arizona State outrushed them. They had 183 yards rushing as a team. And this is before all the subtractions and everything come out. And then Baylor had 116, so they were outrushed by them. But look, it was just a good game. And then you look at Sawyer Robinson before all the he was 25 for 38, 241 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, got sacked twice in the game. Right? Could that be the difference? No, you won't want to say that, right? But look, Sam Levitt was 20 for 30, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 sack. And look, who did Jordan Tyson is the man. He was quiet the whole game. He was quiet the whole game, and he came through clutch in a very clutch moment. And I think when you look at games like this, you really got to start nitpicking. You got to look at the nitty gritty. You got to say, why did these teams lose? You can say penalties. Penalties matter. Some drive killers like that in games like this come down to things like that and turnovers. And close games and hard-fought close games like this, because Baylor, they just think they getting walked over. That's why you don't see it like that. They didn't get walked over. They lost by 3. Arizona State 27, Baylor 24. But I will say this. Arizona State has shown me that team is for real. It's a tough team. The Big 12 has some good football teams. I'm not going to lie. They have some good football teams. Yes, they do. The Big 12 has some good football teams. And then, so, because when you look around college football, right, just as a whole, so you look at the Texas, like I talked about Texas Tech and the Utah game. We talked about that. And then this is some good games. But I'll go through all the games, like I said, once I'm done with this. But that was a great game by Arizona State and Baylor. Great game. Something to really watch out for the Colorado fans, because they see Arizona State later on, and I think they'll be rolling, and they'll be in knowing exactly what each other doing, and that's kind of dangerous, right? Dangerous. CU gets the win over Wyoming. Why am I talking about Colorado beating Wyoming? Well, because I mean, Kaden Salter, the guy that really shouldn't have lost his job, Plus, I talk about Colorado. They beat Wyoming. They did 37-20, as they should. They should beat Wyoming handily, just like how they handled them. Is it concerning? Well, the concerning thing is, I mean, like I guess you could say Wyoming had 11 drives, CU had 10. CU was able to capitalize more off of those. Well, we kind of knew that Wyoming's defense came to play, and they had a good defense, right? But the Colorado defense had to step up, and they showed that in this game versus Wyoming, right? They just did. And I'm putting emphasis on that. They showed improvement against a team who they should show improvement over. And you're not going to get many people talking about this game. Because honestly, like, I mean, but they have improved. So when we do talk about the tackles for loss generated, they had 7 of them. You want to see that out of them. But you really look at it and you say, well, how did they do in the running game? Did they really shut them down running wise in the game? Well, I mean, they ran the ball total 39 times. And this is before all the subtractions and everything come out, right? It was getting almost 5 yards a clip on that Colorado defense. I think, honestly, Wyoming came out and they almost, I don't know why you want to pass with the quarterback that they had the way that they did. And that's what was concerning about me to the end a little bit. You know what I mean? That quarterback can't pass. Caden Anderson ain't no drop back, throw it all over the yard type of guy. Just not. He's just not. And, I'm putting no knock on him or nothing. I mean, look, it is what it is. But when you look at Wyoming and what they were able to do, they still had 178 yards on the ground, and averaging 5 yards per carry, dang near 4.6 to be exact. You know what I mean? And then passing wise, at 28 total passes for 182 yards. CU had 307 yards, and they had 207 on the ground, which is great for Colorado. That's great. I mean, you want to see that kind of game. I mean, you got Kaden Salter who accounted for 100 of those yards. And that's probably exactly how that game should go. Kaden Salter had 100 before you subtract everything out, right? Evenly. Had a buck and a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. Had 293 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and he should be playing like that. He absolutely 100% give Colorado the best chance of winning football games, hands down. And I hope that the whole narrative of him not being able to pass it down the field and spread the ball around the receivers and get Sincere Brown and Omarion Miller the ball, Terrell Timmons, Draylon Miller, he spread the ball around, hit guys, and he just had to get comfortable in playing his way and take the training wheels off of him. And that's exactly, and if CU can continue to, I don't think CU would be where they're at right now with the two L's had Salter been playing the game. I don't see them. I didn't think they would lose to Houston. I just honestly did not think they were. Preseason wise, I picked Colorado to beat Houston. I did. And I also beat them to beat Wyoming. Now their next 4 games are going to be daunting. It's going to be hard. You're going to get tested. These teams equal up with you as far as, they got slightly more speed, right? So is that talent? Those speeds not is that talent? Would you say because they got speed, they're better? The secondary concerns me at Colorado. Secondary concerns me. Um, Coaching also concerns me, but most definitely what concerns me with Colorado is, without a doubt, that secondary. Because if you get a competent guy and a competent receiver, let's just say with Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson, I don't think that's good. But you got to live it up and you got to give it to CU. So let me give it to them first. But look, got BYU next. Focus on them, and that's going to be a tough task. LJ Martin is a beast at running back. That quarterback also is a beast. He also can throw the ball. I know he's a freshman, but they got some decent receivers over there. That defense comes to play, they're going to be all over that. And some of these teams have faced running quarterbacks already, so they'll be prepared for Kaden Salter. But does he give them the best chance to win in this division and in this conference? Absolutely. Absolutely. You take Kaden Salter out of the game again and bench him again, they're not just taking your season and just saying it. We just don't want to win. So to all the singers that's on the roster, sorry that y'all here, but we just don't want to win it. If Salter comes out the game, I'm just being honest. I'm going to say what some other people's not going to say about Colorado, and that's just what it is. Salter gives that team the best chance to win. You have to account for him. He opens up Omarion Miller, Draylon Miller, Sincere Brown. He opens up the downfield passes because you have to bring the guys up. If you're going to play the pass, then we're going to run the ball because you do got running backs who can run the ball. You have a quarterback who can run the ball. But then when you have a quarterback who can run the ball, you always have to they're always got to have the man constantly. I hope you don't disrespect them like Georgia Tech did, because Georgia Tech didn't have a spy. And immediately Pat Schumer should have that not at all time. They didn't. I don't think they started spying him till like almost in the fourth quarter. So if you're Pat Schumer, you gotta recognize that early. Don't disrespect him because he will get busy on you. You gotta have somebody account for Kaden Salter. So that opens up other things on the offense. I mean, it's just hands down. It is what it is, man. I mean, it's not. It don't take a rocket scientist or Chuck and Chubby to say that he's the guy moving forward. And they handle business the way that they should have in every way. Then he said, oh, it was an offense turn of an offense. And I did see Coach Prime's comment, and he said, well, now it's the defense turn. Well, it should be. The defense has been the problem for the past couple. That's what it was. Not knowing who your quarterback was a problem. Now it's one of them, but then the defense just continued to give things up. And I think honestly in this game, had they probably stayed with the run more, and I don't know why in the world. I think that he knew that CU was going to sell out stopping the run, so he put the game in Caden Anderson's hand, tried to do that. But I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got that big running back there. Give him the ball. And I mean, the freshman didn't look bad neither. I mean, Samuel Harris didn't look bad. He had 126 yards, 19 carries. You know what I'm saying? What are you? Why was you throwing the ball the way y'all were with Caden Anderson? Like, I thought that was crazy. But shout out to Colorado for winning the game. I mean, anything, CU won the game, and that's just that. I think that was a bad, and I'm sure he's probably kicking himself in the butt right now, because there was times in that game where you looked at it and you said, "Uh-oh, what's happening?" But they're not a play behind from behind team. Wyoming's not. They're not a play. They control the clock. They score slowly. And I think passing the ball and getting into a panic because you was down 7 or something like that, or was kind of because they stopped the run a little bit. Like, you got to stick to it and play defense. You know what I mean? They kind of panicked a little bit, but I'm sure that coach is sitting there apologizing to his team. Like, look, that was on us. Probably could have played closer. At least covered in this game. I mean, they gave him like 12 points, but anyway, I thought it should be closer. To be honest. I'm not picking on nobody. I'm watching football. I'm researching the game. I thought they could have played them better. Shout out to Colorado, man, for winning that game. Look, college football is a super exciting night. Like you got in the last game I'm gonna touch on, I think is SC and Michigan State. Look, two teams that just aren't flying under the radar right now. I think they come on late. Look, Michigan State, Aiden Chalez. He did not. He was 12 for 21. He had 3 touchdowns. Had 202 yards. I get it, but to me, it was like you're missing certain passes when you shouldn't miss. But he did get had some good passes in the game to Krishawn McCory, Marion Kelly. Got it going late, and I think that's credit to SC's defense. You got to credit SC's defense with being able to stay and keep him contained. Aiden Chalez, because I think he can get it out on him and play the way he's playing. Jaden Maivia, man, I think he was placed in I don't know if he was in my top 4. I think he might have been in my top 4 in the Big Ten. I've been keeping an eye on him since UNLV. Now with Lincoln Riley over to SC, 20 for 26, 234 yards, 3 touchdowns in the game. Thought he played great. I thought he played a great game. And if they can keep running the ball the way they did versus Michigan State, with that 1-2 punch of Sanders and Jordan, man, if they can continue doing that, SC, and moving the ball up front, and and Mekhi Lemon being able to open up downfield for him, SC is going to be a dangerous team. Being ranked number 25 for SC, I get it from last year, past 2 seasons. Man, that team, they're good. I think they are. They are, man. They are a good football team. I thought, and they played tough. Look, the score being up there, right? You're like, all right, the score is up there. And 45-31, right? You'll say, all right, the score, it was too much. It's too much scoring in the game. How could you say that defense what it was, and it really wasn't that? Whatever. That defense is good at SC. I seen that team. I seen them play in that game. They was there. They had a lot more havoc plays than Michigan State's defense did. They really couldn't do nothing with SC's offense. And I mean, so when you look at the game, you be like, that was because of Michigan State's defense. That wasn't a loss on what you can't put that on Michigan State's offense. Say they didn't put up the points. It was a defensive loss. Clearly, by the score you can say that, but also by watching the game was just clear. It was clear. They got the Chalez twice in the game. They were getting tackles for loss. They was in the backfield. I mean, stopping guys before the line of scrimmage. They were definitely in this grill. Definitely controlled the clock. You know what I'm saying? Running the ball as much as they did. 2 backs with almost 100 yards in the game. That is a defensive problem. Most definitely. And you cannot give that up. You can't give that up, man. You can't. You cannot give up that many rushing yards, 300 rushing yards in a game and think you're going to win. That's just crazy. That is absolutely crazy. It is. And I know it's college football, but you just can't. And they couldn't do nothing. And their defense just did. They had no answer for SC. They honestly didn't. They just didn't. I'm honestly surprised that SC didn't score as much, but they was running the ball, controlling the clock. And they did what they needed to do when they needed to do it. I mean, their quarterback was 20 for 26. Jaden Maivia. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. And Mekhi Lemon had a good game too. Let's not trip. He had a good game too, man. He definitely did. Had 8 receptions, 127 yards, and a touchdown. Definitely played a good game. But look, that in college football, man, I think that's my last game that I got on a slate. But just going through and looking at some other games real quick, man, before I get on up out of here, just quickly as possible. Iowa was able to beat Rutgers earlier this week, as y'all saw, 38-28, good game there. Arkansas playing Memphis. I really thought that Arkansas was going to beat Memphis. I like Taylor Green. I really do. He threw a pick in that game. I don't think that he'll get loose with the ball at times, but I'm still a fan of him at that defense over there at Arkansas. Arkansas is going to have a long season at SEC because they can't depend on that defense. However, that offense, when it gets rolling, it rolls. Taylor Green just has to learn to either tuck the ball, get the first down, or just throw the ball away and just leave to play another down. But I mean, when you got a defense that's that bad, and I don't think that it's that bad. I think they got some injuries going on there, but you really can't depend on them to make a stop. And when you gotta, you know what I mean, they have to be playing from up, not in a close game. It's not a close game defense. You get what I'm saying? They're a team that's built, I think, defensively to play while they're up and out in front to try to keep the lead versus trying to, go back and forth with somebody, because the offense definitely did. It was a good game, though. Good game. Shout out to Memphis. They starting off 4-0. Good football team there in the Conference USA and the American Athletic Conference, and they ain't even get in to conference play yet, which is crazy. Maryland beat Wisconsin. They still like low key. They are low key 4-0 right now. They are a low key 4-0 right now. Maryland is 1-0 in the Big Ten. By the way, just wanted to say that, get that out there. SMU and TCU. Look, SMU lost. They're 2-2. TCU 3-0 right now. Josh Hoover, those guys. TCU is a problem. Colorado got them coming up too. That is a team. TCU, they good. Watch out, they're good. They were able to beat SMU, like I said, 35-24. I think that's an old school rival, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Louisville beat Bowling Green 40-27. UNLV 4-0. Mount West team beat Miami of Ohio MAC team 41-38. The MAC is looking all right. The University of North Texas beat Army 45-38. I know y'all know a lot of these scores, but I'm still going to tell you. South Carolina State lost to USF. Tennessee won their game, of course, Oregon. Florida State just keep on rolling, putting up big points, high-powered offense, how that defense is showing up. I know they only play Canton and MAC, but they're just continue to put up those points are just crazy, man, crazy. Tulane and Mississippi Ole Miss, man. Tulane and Ole Miss, that game, good game, man. Look, and I say good game because, look, I didn't expect Ole Miss to go out there and do that to Tulane. I just honestly didn't think they were going to do that. 45-10, no, I just didn't think so. But Ole Miss is 2-0 in the SEC, and they're 4-0. They're 4-0. Yeah, Ole Miss is 4-0 right now. Crazy, right? But hey, get into the meat potato. That's what I'm saying. SEC, it's gonna come down to some. They're gonna beat up on each other. That's what I'm saying. Michigan, Nebraska. That's a team. That's a game I didn't talk about. The Michigan and Nebraska game. I didn't talk about that game. But listen, two young quarterbacks going at it, man. And I thought, man, listen. Those two young quarterbacks are absolutely going to be something, man. They are absolutely going to be something, man. The words right now, I can't describe it, man, but they're going to be something, man. I thought, well, all due respect, man. Look, I thought Dylan Raiola, man, for what they're asking him to do, drop back 40 times. He just couldn't do nothing with that. That defense of Michigan is just crazy, man. They just got to him all day. They harassed him all day long. All day long. He still threw 3 touchdowns. He threw a pick. He threw for 285 yards after he took out everything. But look, man, and he just it was in his face. He just kept getting back up, kept playing the game, and they're asking him to do too much. They couldn't. Emmett Johnson had 65 yards carrying the ball. I think he was their leading rusher with Nebraska. But I thought they surprised me. I didn't think, Matt. They said Matt Rule team in year 3 usually picks it up, and I honestly got to say I was surprised. For them to play Michigan the way that happened, I thought Michigan would win that game, but I thought it would be by a little bit more, to be honest. If I'm being honest, I think I had Michigan win this game handily. Bryce Underwood, 12 for 22, but you can't put that all on Bryce. I mean, look, Jordan Marshall, and Justice Hayes just had a game that you can't do nothing with. They could run the ball at will at Michigan. That's what they do, but they need a guy like Bryce Underwood that can throw the ball. He still got busy, ran one in because he's a dual threat quarterback, and I just would like to really see a steady, get them some receivers up there at Michigan in the next couple of years, and I think Michigan will be a very tough team. But that game, I thought it was a great game. I thought that Michigan and Nebraska was a great game. Two great teams in the Big Ten Conference, man. Young teams, and I think they still got some time to go to build and get where they need to go. But I had to mention that one. Notre Dame got their first win. Of course, they should have versus Purdue. They definitely should have gotten that win. UCF, they remain undefeated right now. Spanked BTA, UNC, and that probably is going to happen this year. A lot with them is going to happen. Look, I know y'all probably don't like rocking with the MAC and all that, but I pay attention to the MAC and Ball State. Yeah, Ball State. They covered versus Connecticut. I thought Connecticut would blow them out. They were picked, and they only lost to them by 6, 25-31. And then they got Buffalo and Troy. Buffalo lost to Troy 21-17. That's another MAC team. Oh, Toledo losing to Western Michigan. I didn't like that at all. It's looking crazy in the MAC. I can't tell if Toledo's going to be the team. Looks like Ohio might be the team, but then Buffalo might pop out. I don't know who's going to lead the MAC right now, and it's crazy right now. Mississippi State and Northern Illinois. I mentioned in that game, even though it ended 38-10, it did not look like that for a lot of that game. That game did not look. That is a team. Look, Northern Illinois was battling Mississippi State. Mississippi State being 4-0 right now. I don't know if that's a fool's goal 4-0 or not, but that's what I'm thinking that is. I think they might just go on like a long streak. Don't really know their schedule too much, but look, I don't know. I think that's a fool's goal 4-0 if you ask me. Duke beating North Carolina State. Good win for them. I think in conference play, they're 1-0 in conference play right now, and that was a big win for them. They needed that. Watch out, Duke, man. Duke, one of them teams that'll ruin your day. They're one of the teams that can ruin your day. I think the ACC gotten a lot better too. Georgia Tech remains undefeated. They spanked Temple. I knew that was going to happen. A game that I think West Virginia beat Pitt. So I got full thinking that West Virginia was some type of good, but I think that's just how bad Pitt is, right? Is that just how bad Pitt is that they lost to West Virginia in a high-scoring game like that? That defense is giving up like that. Or Kansas just watched them do it to Pitt. Kansas is going off. Jalen Daniels and them is going off. Put up 41 on them. West Virginia boys just went off on them. Went crazy. Another upset, man. Conference USA game. I know y'all gotta mention this. College football. We say we like college football. I'm telling you, Delaware getting busy on FIU. I thought FIU was supposed to win that game, and it was at home. They got busy on them. Delaware straight spanked them 38-16. Oh my goodness. Another one, man. Kennesaw State pulled it out versus Arkansas State. They start off 2-2. The Conference USA right now. They ain't even played a game. Akron finally got a dub over Duquesne. They smacked them 51-7. That's how they got busy up on them. Dang. What? You talking about all these other games? You ain't gonna talk about South Carolina and Missouri? Of course, I'm gonna talk about South Carolina and Missouri. Missouri got the best running back in college football right now, hands down. I don't care what none of y'all say. Hardy is a grown man. Hardy is a grown man. And if Bro Pribula has all he got to do is manage the game, man. Manage the game, man. Take care of the ball. Bo Pribula, hand the ball off. Missouri is one of those teams in the SEC who, for sure, I don't look. I think Missouri is one of them teams in the SEC, man. For real, I honestly do. I think Missouri might creep up in there and get some dubs in the SEC that I don't think they probably should get, man. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't know if it's a dark horse. What do you put right behind a dark horse? What's right behind a dark horse? I think they right there. I think they're in the wagon. I think they're in that wagon that the dark horse is pulling. You feel what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? That's what they're on. They're inside that wagon. The dark horse is going in, and I think they pulling it. That's what's going on right now, man. Straight up. I think that's what's going down. All right. And that team right there, man, they going off. Talked about pretty much all of Vanderbilt. They just scored 70. That was Georgia State, though. They remain undefeated in the SEC right now. Washington is undefeated in the Big Ten, but they haven't played a Big Ten team game yet. BYU got over they undefeated, going to go play Colorado next week. They handled the air raid really well, so that lets me know a lot about the passing game with BYU, and I thought that's where they were going to struggle at, was against the pass, and they seem to handle that pretty good. The air raid offense over there at East Carolina, then the fuck with, they get busy. That's what they're main over there for. They did their thing. Did Arch Manning have a bounce back game versus Sam Houston State? Absolutely not. It was Sam Houston State. It's Sam Houston State. I'm not going to push a panic button and say that Arch Manning is the golden arch or whatever, you know what I mean? Because he beat Sam Houston State. He did what he was supposed to do. He's right at where he should be right now, learning the game, getting, you know what I'm saying, getting his timing down, working on his mechanics, you know what I'm saying? Not worried about being a Heisman candidate, not worried about the outside noise, people like me or people like that want to super big them up and getting caught up into that. Just play your game, Arch. Take your time, do your thing, man. You will be great at a point in time. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna come. It's gonna come. You gotta work. You can work, and it's just gonna come. You got great receivers around you, great football team around you. And right now, all you gotta do as a youngster is manage the game. Know when to call it quits or know when not to. You got good athletic ability, but I think that's right where he should be at right now. You know what I'm saying? Doing what he's supposed to do. Period. They took care of business, beating Sam Houston State in a fashion that a Texas should beat them, 55-0. So shout out to Texas for getting that job done. You got LSU. Then what they supposed to do? They remain undefeated right now in the SEC. Which is great. They on it. They on it. LSU. They on one. They on one. That offense. That look pretty good. Oh, but that was versus the who? No, I can't say that. But I mean, everybody else mentions it, right? Everybody else does. They just mentioned it. Texas State 3-1 right now in the Sun Belt. Rolled Richmond. I don't know. They went crazy. I know they were supposed to. UTEP losing the University of Louisiana Monroe 31-25. That shocked me. That was crazy. Colorado State got to a battle with UTSA. UTSA wound up beating Colorado State 17-16. Crazy to me. Ayo, Cal got absolutely BTA by Sean Lewis's San Diego State team. Went crazy on them, man. 34-0. Oh my goodness, San Diego State, they coming out of nowhere in the Mountain West Conference. Fresno barely get past Hawaii. Hawaii are they back? Is Fresno back? What's going on in that Mountain West, man? That Mountain West is looking crazy right now, man. Good football going on over there, by the way. But that's all I got to say, man. Look, I appreciate y'all rocking out with me, man. College football fans point of view style. Trucking chubby, man. I'm up out of here. Peace.